everyone. Welcome into the program. This is Protect and Grow Chicagoland Retirement with Chicagoland Certified Financial Planning Professional, your resource, ladies and gentlemen, for a common sense approach to planning for your financial investment and retirement future. He is Tim Stearns, CFP, President and founder of TJ Stearns, Inc. And Tim, always a pleasure to have you here on the program, giving us that guidance that we all need in this crazy financial world as we're trying to make a little bit more and stronger progress.
Peter, I'm happy to be here, and it's good to be here to talk about some things that people should be front of mind for the beginning of the new year.
Yeah, it does give us a bit of a fresh start, right? Or an opportunity to sort of back up and regroup and assess what's working and what's not. And Tim, I hear this saying that's always sort of bugged me, that it is what it is, and it sort of gives us a sense that things cannot be changed or improved. And granted, we are where we are, but if we put a little bit of focus into things, if we put a little bit of time and effort, we don't have to be relegated and satisfied to always being stuck in the same place that we are or incapable of making improvements.
No, whether anything that you want to do, if you put your mind to it, you can at least move the needle, right? But when it comes to, getting your finances in order, get a coach, and a coach can be an advisor, in my mind. We've helped so many different people get a handle on things, figure out if they can or cannot retire. Mostly you can, just depending on what they're doing. But I mean, right now is you get a fresh start to the new year. The air is crisp out there, so why not give it a shot? At least put the college effort into trying to get a handle on your finances and get a plan out there.
And the way I look at it, Tim, is like planning for retirement is that we can almost see the finish line, or even if I guess we're already retired, we know what the end goal is, but we know also that there's going to be a lot of obstacles in the way. And having that plan in place is what allows us to confidently face and overcome those obstacles. And that's why, ladies and gentlemen, Tim Stearns talks about those obstacles here on the programs, the challenges, the questions, the concerns that we have financially, but also offers to help you with the guidance of a certified financial planning professional to put together your specific written, protect, and grow retirement plan. And if you would like to take Tim Stearns CFP up on that valuable offer and opportunity, just pick up the phone and be in touch with Tim and the team from TJ Stearns, Inc. It is 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. 800-640-2256. 800-640-2256. So Tim, as we are initiating on a fresh start here on the program and discussing a fresh start, if you would, could you back up and maybe talk a little bit about your approach to planning and your perspective there at TJ Stearns and how it may differ from the experience that savers and investors may have previously had on their own or with other advisors?
Well, over 22 years ago, I realized that as a stockbroker, if you remember those days, now everyone's an advisor, but I realized 22 years ago that I wasn't seeing the full landscape of what's out there. If you sell something here, you might affect something with, your Medicare. I didn't realize a lot of that stuff, how it's all interrelated. And that's why I went to Paul and took their certified financial planning program and passed the test, thankfully. So now, what makes us different? Well, we're comprehensive. We look at the tax consequences to doing things. We look at, estate planning, what's in your portfolio analysis. We're trying to make sure that we cover all the bases so that people get to that ideal retirement that they've thought about their whole lives.
Yeah. And Tim, you minimize the effort there. I know that it's not just one class and one test, a lot of hours of continuing education and continuing to ascertain and pass credentials and tests for that CFP credential. The Certified Financial Planning Professional goes in every year over those 22 years since that time, right?
Absolutely. I don't know if I have it in me to go to class again, but I learned so much. And then with the continuing education that we do, we stay up on everything, and teaching the classes has been a godsend for me. It's made me a better financial planner because I'm up on everything, and I'm interacting with people from all over the United States, seeing, the different ways that people are retiring or trying to, and showing our clients, the better ways that we've learned through the class. We get taught as well. And I would tell anybody out there, we have classes all year long with the exception of July. So if you want to learn about how to retire properly, give us a call and we'll get you signed up for a class. We'll take care of the donation that goes to the charity that we have, and we'll get you signed up for it. You can do it from the comfort of your home, or you can come in person. We're in the area at Harper, Roosevelt, North Central, Oakton. We're at all different schools in the area, but better yet, we have Zoom capabilities so we can teach you how to get to that ideal retirement.
Well, not just a certified financial planning professional, but an educator, ladies and gentlemen, and a published author of the book, Solving the Modern Retirement Riddle. If you would like to sit down and discuss your planning with a certified financial planning professional, if you'd like to attend one of those upcoming retirement classes held throughout the area, or if you'd like a copy of Tim's book, Solving the Modern Retirement Riddle, we do welcome you to be in touch. Give a call, request that information, whichever avenue, or all of the above approach, if you'd like. 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. 800-640-2256. And Tim, we do know that working with an advisor, there is some time commitment and investment. There is some cost with that. Now, you make the initial review process, the meeting process, the strategy session, and in fact, the design and the construction of the delivered written protect and grow plan available at no cost with no obligation. But in a long-term relationship, why do you feel it is an advantage to a saver or an investor, with the time, with the cost that would be involved, of working with a CFP professional, certified financial planning professional?
I think, you're in uncharted waters when you're going into retirement. You've never been there. When you were younger and the market corrected, so be it. You're still putting money back in there, your dollar cost averaging. But when you get hit like you did in 2022 and, you're in retirement, it's a whole different feel. And that's what I've seen and I've heard through our classes. So I think to have a captain of the ship in these uncharted waters, it's a retirement plan, is so important. You get one shot at that ideal retirement. And, we're making sure that people are taken care of and looking fastidiously at, what's out there for them. A lot of people think they're educated on what retirement is, or I go the other extreme. People are so overwhelmed by all the new things that are out there, like the Secure Act and the Secure Act 2.0, and they're talking about a Secure Act 3.0. Well, guess what? We're up on all that. We teach that in our classes. But we'll educate people and make sure that as they go into these uncharted waters, they're a net seller of assets. Any assets they have are going to be, sold off in some point to pay for their bills. They're not working anymore. And I think that's scary to many baby boomers.
Well, if you would like, again, the help and assistance of a certified financial planning professional to run that obstacle course, as we've called it, you can see the finish line, or maybe you can identify at least the finish line of the phase that you are in and where you hope to get to next. But all of those obstacles that are in the way, the help and assistance of somebody who has run that course with others many, many, many times before and knows how to address and tackle and overcome each one of those obstacles. Give Tim Stearns, CFP, a call, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256, 800-640-2256. So Tim, let's talk about some of those obstacles, some of those things that the Protect and Grow plan specifically addresses, identifies, and then helps people to formulate the plans to overcome successfully. I know one of the biggest ones is actually something that we hope for on one hand, but it does make planning in retirement, for retirement, and making it through retirement that much more difficult, which is our longevity. We hope for a long, healthy, happy life, but living longer doesn't make things in the future less expensive, certainly.
Well, we've had Tom Hegna on here. He's a New York Times bestseller. He talks about the biggest risk in retirement is longevity risk. And what does that mean? Well, you might outlive your money. I think that scares the bejesus out of everybody. If you are, what are you going to do? You're going to go back to work when you're 85? because you've run out of money, or you're going to look over at your spouse and go, hey, I guessed wrong. That being said, you have to make sure that you have your ducks in a row. And by having an income allocation plan helps you get through longevity risk, because we'll show you, if you're going to run out of money, when that might be. And I would want to think that every retiree out there, even if you've already retired, if you don't have a plan, you're wondering in the back of your mind at all times, do I have enough? And that's why we make sure people do by doing our plans.
And then, Tim, we've got to understand sequence risk. We have to address the market. Now, you've talked many times on this program about how most people's actual risk exposure is way out of whack, way out of alignment with their risk tolerance. But why is now a great time to review and evaluate and assess that, and then do some course corrections while the market's up rather than being reactive?
Well, let's take a look at it. 13 years of a bull market up until 2022. We got lazy and we got greedy. And guess what? We got hit again. Not as bad as 2008, but we got hit again. Most of the portfolios that are coming into our office from our new clients are down about 20%. And that's tough, and if you're in retirement or about to go into there, how do you get that money back? So the whole idea here is to keep you focused on the fact that you need to have active money management, not just sitting there buying and holding. Many people think that that's the way to do it, and I would have to disagree. They quote Vanguard. Vanguard is currently buying companies that are actively managing investments. Remember, they used to be a buy and hold, but
Right.
They too realized that the market is ebbing and flowing at all times. And, are we going to time the market perfectly? Of course not. But I sure do think that we'll have a better shot at it than a buy and hold.
And speaking of buy and hold, Tim, a lot of savers and proactive investors have put away the bulk of their money in these employer sponsored plans like 401ks, or the like. There's a few other combinations of number and alphabet soup there, 403bs and 457s and TSPs,
Oh, yeah.
but we'll call them employer sponsored plans. And those are sort of set it and forget it and buy and hold and kind of on autopilot. And then inside of those plans, a lot of times they're sort of like autopilot within autopilot on cruise control with these target date funds. Do you help people make sure that they are educated and informed and utilizing the best options inside of their employer sponsored plans?
Absolutely. If they want us to help, we'll have them send us the lineup and actually put it in our software and figure out the best method. Most of them have target date funds, and a lot of people think that's a silver bullet to happiness. But look what your portfolio did in 2022. The Vanguard 2015 lost over 15%. So that's the year 2015 and 2022 lost 15%. So that's saying that I'm in retirement, I want really no risk, and I still lost 15%. So they are not a silver bullet. You need to find, maybe a better way at what you're going to do, or being actively managed in there.
And you can discuss all of these kind of factors, these issues, these obstacles for a comfortable, confident retirement, Tim, in a review and a strategy session. A lot goes into those reviews and strategy session conversations. You talk about a lot of different topics, many more than we've covered just so far in the conversation.
Definitely. I mean, first of all, you start with budgeting, right? But then you also want to do tax planning. What we've seen with accountants, and our CPA that we have on staff here, Joe Erkenswick, will agree with this. He's a history teacher, right? He's going to tell you what went on before. That being said, well, why not look into tax mitigation, where you can fix some of these things? We've been helping people with a lot of Roth conversions. Required minimum distribution rescue is another thing we've done for our clients. But at the end of the day, let's not pay as much taxes as we have to. Let's look at a legal way to mitigate some of those taxes. The other thing is looking at, where they're allocated in the markets. I think a lot of people don't realize how much risk they currently have. And right now, I think you've gotten a do-over, a do-over that says, hey, you can actually, you're right where you were. So, at the beginning of 2022, so take advantage of that and make sure you're diversified, that your risk factors aren't real super high. We're seeing people come in here who are in their late 60s, early 70s, and they have almost 80% in stocks, which is insane. And then they don't really have an income allocation plan. There's a lot of need out there, and some people don't realize it.
Tim, when you say you've got the opportunity for a do-over, it sort of strikes me here that at the beginning of every year, there's like predictions about what is to come in the year ahead. And it seems almost without fail, it's always that those that know best, the smartest and brightest minds on Wall Street get it completely wrong. 2022 was supposed to be a relatively uneventful year, and it ended up to be a terrible year for the markets.
Yeah.
One of the worst years on record for the traditional asset allocation diversified portfolio. 2023, the beginning of the year, all of the talk was of the coming almost certain recession that we were going to enter into. And we actually made it through 2023, finishing on an up note. But now here again in 2024, hear a lot about the soft landing and on one hand, how the Fed has eased us into a good place in the economy. But on the other hand, almost like Chicken Little absolute doom and gloom on the other hand. And I suppose it's hard to make sense of it all and sort through the two extremes. But all that being said, where do you think that we are, and what might be some of the lead stories in your mind for 2024 and beyond?
Well, one of the big stories that we're hearing, and we were hearing it at the end of last year, was that every election year for a president for the last 30 cycles has been an up year in the bull market. Well, nothing's normal anymore. On average, I don't know if that's going to happen again. We are looking at the market and we're not positive about it. That's why we're dynamic and active when we invest. I would be weary if I had to buy and hold. And one of the things, Peter, we've talked about that, if you're over 59.5 out there, and you're working for a company, you can take money out of your 401k in most cases and move it into an IRA that could have stop losses and that type of thing. So I tell anybody out there that's wondering, can I do that? We'll help you look under the hood of your 401k and see if that's in there. We had one woman call in just last week who was worried about that, and she literally got them to change their 401k. They added an amendment to it to allow her to take her money out. So that's the kind of power of taking, control of your own future. When she wanted to get it done, and she got it done. So I would tell anyone out there that if you're over 59.5, look at the fact that you could do an in-service distribution into an IRA. There's no taxes, but you start to take control of your own future.
Take the reins, take control, chart the course to the destiny and destination that you envision, ladies and gentlemen. That's what the planning process is and is all about. And if you would like to enlist the help and assistance of an experienced, qualified professional, a certified financial planning professional partner in that process, pick up the phone and give Tim Stearns CFP a call, 800-640-2256. That is 800-640-2256, 800-640-2256. As a resource for Chicagoland area savers and investors. Tim's main office, TJ Stearns Inc., is located conveniently right there in Arlington Heights, but he holds classes, educational retirement classes throughout the area at local universities. He's always available via a digital format for virtual meetings, for Skypes or Zooms or Google Meets or what have you. However you are most comfortable there, that's super easy and convenient to meet online these days. Still the face-to-face feel there. Or you can go online and find out more at tjstearns.com, tjstearns.com. But the easiest way, the taking the first step, is to pick up the phone and give a call, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256, 800-640-2256. And as mentioned, not only is Tim Stearns CFP a certified financial planning professional, but that financial educator and a published financial author with his book, Solving the Modern Retirement Riddle. Tim, you're very proud of this book because we do face a lot of riddles in retirement, a lot of unanswered questions, a lot of things that we can't seem to quite figure out, or at least the status quo doesn't seem to be helping us solve these issues. But you talk about them, you address them, and you tackle those issues head on in the book, and give some alternative kind of thinking, like what you have to do with a riddle in order to rethink the problem to solve for it.
Well, I mean, I think people have to get used to the fact that it's not your dad's retirement anymore, where he had a pension. Your mom might have had a pension. They're living off their Social Security. You know, most baby boomers are going to be living off their 401k. It's their largest asset that they have besides their house. So how to do that with a uniform amount coming out? I mean, life gets in the way. So having a plan helps, mitigate some of the mistakes you might make along that way. And if you're looking at a 25 to 30-year retirement, you need to make sure that you have your ducks in a row. It's so important. And that's what we help people do. And that being said, the book is all about solving the riddle of retirement. And I would like to offer 10 free books to the first 10 callers who have over $500,000 in assets. I'd love to get it in your hands so that you can start to read it and figure out exactly what we're talking about here is, getting through that retirement riddle the correct way. You only have one shot at it.
Well, 10 copies of Solving the Modern Retirement Riddle available to the first 10 callers to today's program, one per caller there. 800-640-2256 is the number to call to request and reserve your copy of Solving the Modern Retirement Riddle. 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. 800-640-2256. And Tim, I suppose that reading that book would be one of the main things that you suggest for anyone thinking about retiring in 2024. Are there any other, what you would view as critical steps if somebody is considering retiring this year or in the near future here?
Well, we see this all the time from ARP, other news sources that we're using in our classes. 9 out of 10 Americans don't have a plan, but yet 9 out of 10 of them want a plan. They're thirsty for that. They want, to do it. But a lot of us are, don't want to know the truth, if you will. So, what I would tell you is attend our class, get an idea of what's going on with retirement so you can understand all the facets that go into there. And then after that, come see us and get a plan involved here that, will take care of both the spouses in a 30+ year retirement, because that's a real thing we're seeing nowadays.
Well, if you would like to make sure that you've got a plan in place, once again, it is the Protect and Grow plan. And those are the main goals that will be detailed and that the plan will help you to accomplish when you sit down and formulate and specifically put in writing your plan, detail and outline the assumptions that the plan is based on, the potential problems, the pitfalls, the Murphy's Law, the what if scenarios. All of those go into the planning process so that you can be more confident in your protection and further future growth and progress. That's the goal of the planning strategy session with Tim Stearns, CFP, your resource, your certified financial planning professional, the author of Solving the Modern Retirement Riddle. So once again, pick up the phone, give a call to reserve the time to have a conversation with Tim, to have that detailed review and strategy session, and to get your Protect and Grow written retirement plan in place. 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. 800-640-2256. And looking back through periods of economic cycles, Tim, growth in the markets, downturn in the markets, it seems like that there have been absolutely periods where it has been a good time to retire. And we don't know the future, but it seems more uncertain now than ever. So shouldn't we take those proactive steps, looking at the year and all of the years ahead that will be retirement, and make sure that we have that plan in place, that we've taken steps to protect and grow?
Right. So the first thing I would do is I would look inside your portfolios and see how much risk you're taking. And then if you are taking a lot of risk, that's fine. But what, fail safes do you have? What breaks do you have on that portfolio? And I'll ask you, do you have a stop loss? Do you have things like that are going to be dynamic and active during the market being volatile. That at least gives you a fighting chance to retain all that money you've made over your 30, 35-year career. It's important to make sure that you retain the amount of money that you've earned. And I think that a lot of people don't realize it. And you have a do-over right now, like we talked about, that you have you have the ability to start from scratch where you were and then reposition your assets and deploy them into better assets that, will not take in so much water as you did in 2022. If we don't learn from our mistakes, we're bound to do it again.
Yeah. And you saw me slightly chuckle there, Tim, as you mentioned the 30 to 35 year career. Man, that was a long time, right? But retirement these days is stretching equally as long, if not longer. Retirement can be easily 30 to 35 years, in some cases more. And if we made a mistake at the beginning of our career, we could course correct along the way a little bit, but we sure want to try to avoid especially big mistakes, and especially early on in the first several years of retirement, because they can absolutely determine the rest of the course and the complete trajectory of the duration of our retirement. And I think that's the biggest value, the most important takeaway, and truly the strength of having that protect and grow written plan in place.
I couldn't agree more. You need to have a plan. If you're going somewhere, you have a plan, right? How to get there. And yet you see these people in retirement who are winging it, winging it. I use, the quotes, because that is just, to me, asinine. You want to make sure that you have the straightest shot at how you're going to get to somewhere. Well, that's by having a plan. And retirement, you want to make sure that it's not a bumpy ride. You want to make sure that it's smooth sailing. And I couldn't say that more. By getting a budget, figuring out what you're going to be doing during retirement. Do you have enough money for this, that, and the other thing? Put your dreams in there, and figure out exactly what you're trying to do in life. And, come see us and we'll help you get that plan together.
Yeah. Put quite simply, ladies and gentlemen, good enough just isn't. I think my savings is good enough. I think my plans are good enough. Probably need to review and make sure that you're optimizing those plans, that you've got the protect and grow plan in place. And just because we are where we are doesn't mean that we have to be relegated and satisfied that is our future situation and that it simply is what it is. No, you can take steps to execute and implement and show progress and improvement. And that's why we plan. And that's why Tim Stearns, CFP, your certified financial planning professional, is the resource in and across Chicagoland for proactive savers and investors. If you're serious about your financial future, you want to get that plan put in place, or review and evaluate anything that you have questions about, concerns about, want to make sure that you've addressed Social Security optimization, tax minimization, risk, understanding it, addressing it, income generation, all of those things are part of that protect and grow plan. Pick up the phone now, give a call, 800-640-2256, 800-640-2256. If there's anything that's got you puzzled about your financial and retirement futures, you owe to yourself to request and read the book, Solving the Modern Retirement Riddle. First 10 callers with at least $500,000 saved can request, receive, reserve a copy of that book, Solving the Modern Retirement Riddle. So give a call now, 800-640-2256, 800-640-2256. And as always, Tim, it is always such a pleasure having you here on the program, and we appreciate the time and the guidance, knowledge, and insight.
Peter, thanks again.
Tune into Chicagoland certified financial planner Tim Stearns' full radio program and visit tjstearns.com for many valuable resources, including other great episodes of Chicagoland Retirement. Be sure to subscribe.
Investment advisory services offered through Cornerstone Securities, LLC. The information presented on this program is provided for informational purposes only, without warranty of accuracy, completeness, or suitability for particular purpose. This program is not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, legal, or tax advice. This information is general in nature, not specific enough to be construed as advice. You should not make any decision based on the information presented on this program without independent consultation with an appropriately licensed professional or competent advisor. Investment in securities or the market involves a potential risk for loss of principal. Trading, therefore, may not be suitable for all listeners. listeners. Annuity guarantees are based solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing company. Withdrawals of growth from annuities may be taxable as ordinary income in the year it is taken. Individuals should review contracts for specific details of the product's features and costs.